Welcome back to Soccer Card United. It's episode 261 of the greatest soccer card podcast in the world. My name is Jason. That's Enzo. Hello, Enzo.
Hello, Jason. How are you?
Good. I just to give people a little peek behind the curtain. When we sat down to record this podcast, the lighting was entirely different in my room. I'm now illuminated by the screens. I'd previously been illuminated by the sun, but we got on and you'd been away over the weekend. So we ended up delaying the recording by like 2 hours as we just chatted.
Yeah, we were catching up on, it wasn't just me telling you about my time away. We were catching up on work, catching up on the hobby, catching up on life, people on life. I seen you have quite a nice, you've gone Christmassy, Jason, in your home. I seen that on your Instagram.
That wasn't my house.
Oh, wasn't it? It looked like your house.
It looks like my house because it's in the same area as my house, but it's not my house.
I was, all right. Okay.
No.
I was
Imagine
thinking,
that had been my house. That would have been.
I didn't know if you were
for...
a Christmas guy. I was like, oh, Jason's one of the people that really goes big for Christmas. One of those.
And you just thought that hadn't come up to this point.
Yeah, I hadn't. I don't know. I feel like I'm not. I've never been to your house at Christmas, so I was like, oh, I didn't know that. He's jolly. I was thinking the Grinch is inside a very Christmassy exterior.
No, I mean that would have been that was a display that would have made Soccer Card Santa even proud.
Yeah, that's true. I forget you do have a lot of jolly Christmas spirit, no doubt about it.
Yeah. But one of the side effects of having waited to record the podcast is one of the positive consequences is that Euro Sapphire, the segment on Euro Sapphire, has gone from a preview to now we can look at an actual launch page because as of this afternoon, Euro Sapphire is out.
Bada bing! It's still not even sold out yet. It only went live, I would say, a few minutes ago.
Yep. 2024 Top Scrum UEFA Euro Sapphire Edition, hobby box, £210 sterling, or what do you know it is on the Euro site?
250.
250 euros. You can buy with it an Ultra Pro One Touch, or you can get an acrylic card display from Topps. They're getting into all those verticals now.
There's hats as well. Yeah. I've seen hats.
There's hats.
Yeah, I've seen hats.
Wow. There are still boxes available as of recording. I imagine they'll sell out by the time we record, but maybe not. Who knows?
I'm trying to add the cart just to see what the
situation is.
It seems to be 3 is the max you can add to cart, I believe.
Right.
No, 4. Did I get to 4? Maybe I did.
For the first time ever, Topps is releasing a Topps Chrome Euro Sapphire 2024 edition. For the first time ever, they're doing a Euro Sapphire 2024. That's pretty interesting. Collectors can look forward to lots of highlights. 150 of the best players from all over Europe can be collected. The base set, of course, on the unique Sapphire background. The ChatGPT write this. The Dream Big insert shows players in their younger years as well as after achieving the ultimate highlight, the European Championship title. In addition, there is once again a base card image variation in every box, as well as the chase for rare and popular Sapphire selections and infinite Sapphire cards. Look for several numbered parallels in every box. And of course, the best players can also be found with autographs cards again. One Chrome Sapphire autograph card is guaranteed in every box. 1 auto per box in this Sapphire. 8 packs in every box, 4 cards in every pack. The design, Enzo, I think is good.
Definitely. The design of the box, are you saying the cards themselves?
No, the design of the cards. Well, the box looks good, but the cards...
I always care for the box. I'm wearing a jacket here. Sorry, I'm moving around. It's quite cold in the SCU HQ today. 3 parallels in a box, 1 Chrome autograph. As we've seen with Sapphire this year, there tends to be kind of some boxes with 4 parallels, etc. The print runs have been low. Sapphire selections are nice. Lee Minimal autograph Sapphire selections and a Cristiano autograph Sapphire selection definitely highlights in the set for sure.
Mm-hmm. You got your national debut Sapphire cards for the likes of Kane and Yildiz. Virgil van Dijk, you see the national colours there up the side.
Yeah, really popping out.
I
don't know if it's because it's on the kind of Sapphire background, but these seem to pop out a lot more than they did on the Chrome.
They do, yeah. They seem almost more full colour or something like that.
Yeah, maybe they are. Who knows?
Sapphire selections, and then there's the infinite insert as well, featuring in this card Rui Costa. And if we go here. Who else is on that one? Rui Costa, Lamine Yamal, Jude Bellingham, Jamal Musiala, Clarence Seedorf, Luka Modric, Cristiano Ronaldo, Robert Lewandowski, Andres Iniesta, and Kevin De Bruyne, all infinite.
Yeah, only 1, 2 unlicensed there.
Mm-hmm. They've definitely kept throughout this checklist, and I think they did a really good job of this in Euro Chrome as well, as opposed to the Road 2 sets. of keeping a handle on the unlicensed players and cards and prioritizing the licensed ones.
Yep, and there's a chance maybe when they were making the Road 2 sets, they didn't know about the licensing issue in advance. You know, when they were building out a checklist.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough. And deciding who would have autographs, etc. You were pointing out to me before we came on the air that Sapphire Selections autos are all licensed.
Yep, I'm pretty sure. I'm double checking now, but yeah, it looks to be the case.
Yeah, which I like because it's almost like they've taken care. They kind of are looking after that subset. They're preserving the integrity of that subset.
That was my big criticism with Hidden Gems when there was the Zidane unlicensed Hidden Gems, and I'm sure there was a couple more unlicensed Hidden Gems, but the Zidane one stuck out to me. It was the first one I seen. He was obviously unlicensed for France, and I was just like, why would you do that? You don't have to do that. No one has a gun to your head. You are in charge of Hidden Gems. Make sure they're licensed. So yeah, to see Sapphire Selection autographs all being licensed, they're going to be big chase cards for people from those countries or people that just collect those players. You know, you look at the Andy Robertson for Scotland, like that is going to be a big chase card for the Scottish. So, and Liverpool,
especially
fans.
After his late goal against Poland there to get them into the out of or something. I don't know.
Out of, you know.
Some sort of important goal for him there. Dream Big is the insert with where you have them as they're making their debut and they're and winning the tournament as well, which I think is a nice idea for an insert. And let's see, let me refresh the page and see, is it sold out yet? Oh, it doesn't seem to be. Oh.
I seen that there's a limit of 3 per person, 3 boxes, which is, I would say, from someone who has, you know, a history of in my past life and currently packing boxes. 3 is an interesting number. I'm sure the packing team won't thank them for that. I think 2 or 4 is always the way you want to do that when they're kind of square shaped boxes, Jason.
Well, okay, that's a little nugget there for anyone listening in the logistics industry.
You'd be going mad. 3 boxes. What are you doing? Yes, still there on the German site as well. So 2 of normally the UK would sell out fast. So I'd say there was a decent allocation on these websites.
Interesting.
Or lack of appetite, but I would assume it's decent allocation.
I don't know, Enzo, if people will have seen this, but you were pointing out to me that there had been a couple of rogue Sapphire F1 cards popping up in F1 Chrome.
Yep. So we've seen some 1-of-1s. I don't know if we've seen any other numbers, but we've seen 1-of-1s being hit in F1 Chrome.
Wow. But that doesn't seem to have been the case in Eurochrome. So as far as we know, all of the Eurochrome
Sapphire cards are in Sapphire.
Yeah.
So we're hoping, when F1 Sapphire comes out, sorry, Jason, small lag here if I'm chatting over you. We're hoping when F1 Sapphire drops that this 1-of-1 thing kind of gets figured out, or the Sapphire, like, are they going to be missing if they've been hit already in Chrome? Or is there duplicates? Are we going to get another big Fanatics buyback thing where you can kind of put 1-of-1 in for a very lucrative kind of bounty price? Who knows?
Who knows? Just to stay in Fanatics land, we saw over the last few days that it seems something is cooking in London with Fanatics, who are apparently Fanatics Collectibles are opening a store. They're opening a Fanatics Collectibles store, not a Fanatics store. People are saying, okay, this is like a Fanatics store. You go in and buy merchandise. No. Fanatics Collectibles, which is the parent company of, or a parent division of Topps.
Yep.
So this is very interesting stuff. Fanatics getting into the hobby shop game,
the retail game, Jason, in a big way.
It seems to be in a shopping center or a mall, as our American listeners would call it, called Westfield in London. And here's a little interesting little nugget from our friend Super Lucas. Here's the Fanatics Collectibles under construction, and you take a little peek, right? And you see that it's got a couple of Match Attax cards in there.
Is that Match Attax?
Yes, I believe it is.
Very nice.
So yeah, isn't that interesting? Hiding in the corner of London Westfield W12, an under construction Fanatics Collectibles store with 2 Match Attax cards displayed in the peak holes.
Can you go back to the peak hole that showed the kind of, there you go. Oh, that's outside. Sorry, sorry, I thought it was inside the store.
No.
Interesting.
That would be very big news, certainly for the UK hobby and potentially for the global hobby. If this is something they were trialing, am I right in saying there's no Fanatics Collectibles store anywhere?
I think you're right. Yeah, I mean that's so new. Like, obviously we think it's interesting that it happened in the UK. Obviously, one of their two big markets will be kind of UK and Germany, this side of the world. And obviously, they have offices in the UK, a very strong presence in, I think, London and Milton Keynes.
And Fanatics are in Manchester too, I believe.
Yeah, Manchester. Yeah, you're there, right? And I think it's interesting because I think you said this to me ages ago, Jason, when we kind of heard the news. Was like, it could be worsely received if they did it in the States because there's so many kind of card shops everywhere. It would be it's almost easier for them to set up a shop in Europe, UK, because there's not necessarily a lot of card shops everywhere, that they're not stepping on local card stores. They're creating and stepping into a market.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting. There is obviously one card shop in London, sports card shop in that kind of area. I don't know where Westfield is, but there is one. But obviously opening up in the shopping centre, Fanatics collects. I'm sure they'll have memorabilia in there as well, Fanatics unwrap, that sort of stuff. It'll be interesting to see like how the pricing is. You know, like if they have a box that would go up in value immediately after release, they release it obviously at their ORP on their website. Will that be reflected in shop? And as a result, will that shop in kind of Westfield, will it always have on release days and stuff like that drops? Will it be kind of akin to sneaker shops when they have a big sneaker launch going on, where there's kind of a line around the corner and people are kind of just walking in just to sell it and, you know, that sort of carry on? It could be a very interesting development when they do have a big launch like that coming in.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. How are they going to be like? Is it going to be kind of a midnight release situation or whatever? Like, are people queuing up? Are they kind of one per customer? Are there velvet ropes involved on days when they're releasing certain products and all that kind of stuff? I don't know. And I think they're probably, on the one hand, you might say, well, as you were saying, on the one hand, you might say, like, why would they be doing it in Europe? But I think they probably see this as like a great test market and a great, like, you know, let's see how this stuff sells in store. Because they obviously, you know, we heard from the Tops Industry Conference when they were telling hobby shops in the States what they wanted from them going forward. And that included, you know, displays and regularly updating your stock and all this kind of stuff. And then telling Fanatics, you know, I sold X amount of my baseball products, or, you know, the kids are buying all the Yankees cards or whatever kind of thing, you know, under 14s love the Cleveland Guardians or whatever, etc. And this is probably one thing where they're like, if we can kind of perfect our own shop, then if you're being sinister, then you might say maybe we can just do it ourselves, have a retail chain of stores. If you're being less sinister, you could say, we can build some, not a lot, but some kind of model shops almost. So when someone says, well, what do you want me to do at my hobby shop? You can say, well, in our store, we do X, Y, and Z, and we find it works very well. So do this. Here's a real life example. So maybe it'll give them some credibility when they are talking to hobby shop owners to say, well, hang on, that's not our experience because we have a shop in London and it does this. So, you know, I don't know.
It's interesting. It'd be interesting to see how they work with singles. Because obviously you'd assume boxes, they're not going to have Panini boxes in the shop, right? So that's going to be a different factor, you'd imagine. Will they have singles? And if so, will it just be top singles? You know, how's it going to look? It's going to be interesting.
I don't think Fanatics collectibles will be becoming upper deck diamond dealers anytime soon anyway. So, want your ice hockey cards, you're going to have to stick with your
LCS.
Stuff.
That's right.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to watch, though. Really well. And obviously with the Premier League license coming on board, it's probably a really smart move. Have a shop in a shopping centre in London selling Premier League products. That seems like you would imagine that will be successful.
It also gives them, and you mentioned the Premier League, it also gives them kind of a physical space to do in-store stuff. If they want to do their Rip Night, but also like if they want to do, I don't know, like you want to have Marcus Rashford is going to do a signing as part of the Manchester United license or whatever. Or there's a Premier League thing and we're going to have an event with some players or some stuff. Like you can do launches. So it's probably works for them also, not just as a shop, but as kind of a marketing thing as well. Yeah.
Marketing the hobby, yeah. I'm sure Tom Brady will end up in the shop for some reason.
Yeah, well, because he could be in Birmingham on business, and then he heads over to London.
Could be coming for some of the NFL in London, etc., etc. There's angles, and obviously they're about to get the NFL licenses officially soon enough in the next year or so, and obviously NFL coming to London. That's more, again, if you're thinking marketing, you're thinking of events, you're thinking of let's make things happen here. I think it's a good move, and I like that it's in a shopping centre. I think there's an extreme lack of that globally in the hobby is a shop in a place where there is natural footfall for discoverability.
Well, it seems, speaking of that, that I don't know if you saw that Nat Turner of PSA, who we're actually going to talk about in a minute, has taken a seat on GameStop's board.
Yep,
I believe that's the case. And it looks like GameStop are going to commit even further to their strategy of offering hobby services and maybe offering other hobby products and becoming kind of semi hobby retailers. And they talk about places in shopping malls, etc. If it's a good idea for GameStop, but Fanatics are probably like, well, let's do it ourselves. And we may see more of these hobby shops owned by corporate owners popping up in premium retail locations, as opposed to being the thing of you got to go over there down the road 15 minutes and then turn left, and then it's the third thing beside the dry cleaners or whatever.
Yeah, and it looks a bit dainty, but don't worry, go in, they're nice.
Yeah,
that kind of vibe. It'll be interesting to see. It definitely makes sense to exist. I do think if you have enough money to do it, and you have obviously access to the products, you're probably not going to be that late on your release date. And it's a single, it's there. I'd be interested to see how big it is and how it's going to flow and etc. I think it's definitely something that even for ourselves, Jason, it would be worth hopping on a plane over and having a nose around ourselves.
Definitely. I mean, one thing that I've heard from people about Fanatics in terms of shop owners, I think I was talking to somebody in New York about this, or it could have been Cleve, I don't know. Anyway, but they were saying that a couple of guys they knew who were sort of owner-operators of hobby shops, but were more owners than operators these days. They're kind of semi-retired and the shop kind of just ran itself. And they had kind of been getting into it a little bit with Fanatics because Fanatics wanted more of a presence from the owners of the shop. If it's kind of, I don't know, it's Mike's sports cards over the door, they kind of want Mike in there sometimes. And Mike's like, well, I'm with my grandchildren or whatever. So one interesting thing about this, as compared to other hobby shops, is there will be no owner operator in there. The people you're talking to are nowhere near the people who are making the decisions on pricing, etc. So it'll be interesting to find out, is it going to be like a kind of a card dealership situation where you go in and it's like, I understand this guy doesn't own Mercedes, but he's licensed to deal, or even some like you go to Harvey Norman, like buy some furniture or something, the guy can give you, are the salespeople going to be pure retail staff? Are they going to be salespeople? I'm very interested.
It becomes very interesting, and they're obviously going to have to be knowledgeable, which is an important thing. If you're going to have a thing that's not well known and there's discoverability and you want to grow it, the people in the shop obviously are going to have to be super knowledgeable, because the people walking in, the buyers, especially in a shopping center, are not going to be knowledgeable necessarily. Unless they're hobby people coming in specifically. If they're just, I'm in the shopping center, I see this, I see some Manchester, I see some Man United, I see whatever I see, and I walk in and I have some questions, the people are going to have to be very knowledgeable. To your point, Jason, if they're going to have singles, which I believe they will, if they're going to have singles, then how much scope will the staff members have to kind of haggle and not haggle, and what's a comp and what's not a comp? And will you walk in going, well, all right, you have this listed for 100, but there's a comp of it for 50 on eBay? Do they take that out? Do they have to just kind of give you that experience of like, well, I can't do anything about that, sir? Because who knows? But those are challenges. Yeah, can you trade? And I can imagine. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I do think it's not. I don't think it's a negative, but I do think, if they were to have shops kind of everywhere, if they decide we're the local card, like it is that kind of furthering of. I don't want to call it a monopoly, but to be fair to them, they have the funds to do what I think should be done, which is open high end shops in areas of it's a smart thing. It's kind of like, if yous already did all this, we wouldn't do it, but yous didn't do it, so we're going to do it.
Yeah, and we saw this week as well that the Fanatics Fest in Orlando has been postponed indefinitely. It was postponed because of the hurricane situation, and now it's been postponed indefinitely. The chief of Fanatics events, Lance, said that they couldn't find a suitable date in 2025 for Central Florida or Orlando kind of area for a show. So they're focusing now on the next Fanatics Fest.
Just presumed to be in LA, right?
Is it going to be in LA?
I think it's presumed to be in LA early, maybe Q1 into Q2 of next year, 2025.
Right. Well, so we're waiting on details of what the next kind of big Fanatics Fest is going to look like. Their plans for these intermediate and smaller shows haven't rolled out. It's just the point is basically that I'm making in terms of, we're talking about shops and we're talking about they might do this and they might do that. And when we heard about Fanatics Fest and Fanatics events, we had similar conversations about, well, this might happen and this might happen and then what if this? But we have seen they have form of experimenting with something, trying it, and then rolling back or adapting if they need to.
I do think like the shop could be successful, but not necessarily make financial sense, if you know what I mean. Like it could be like, this is very successful. It is making, like, the revenue is huge, but what we had to put into it whatever. But we know ourselves, Jason. Like if you want to rent a space in a shopping center, the lease is probably 5 years plus.
Yeah.
So does that? I think that's going to be. I don't think that's going to come and go, that shop, but that shop will dictate what they do next, probably. And just one thing on the Fanatics Fest, obviously the cancellations of, I think there was maybe a Pittsburgh show as well. That was a small show, whatever. The Orlando one was a bit messy. I have heard from, obviously we go to so many different shows around Europe, and we go to the States with a lot of people from the UK and Europe that are also there. But I've heard a lot of people kind of saying they wouldn't be too confident buying flight tickets to the next announced Fanatics Fest necessarily. Because, it's willy-nilly cancelling it. But when you're an international that's paying big money to kind of go, like I think people did have flights booked to Orlando, etc.
Yeah.
It's a bit weary. I would imagine the next Fanatics Fest that's going to be on a big scale will be safe enough to buy tickets for, but it is, if you're hosting an event, you need to kind of follow through. That's, event.
Yeah, you don't, because if you get a reputation of cancelling everything you schedule, then people don't book with you for very long,
which is going to lead to you potentially cancelling it because you haven't sold necessarily as many tickets, and and that's the same if you're in New York. I'm sure it's a decision to be made to go to LA or whatever.
So, we spoke about we mentioned Nat Turner of PSA, and he announced this week that they were introducing PSA Offers. The quickest way to turn cards into cash from the PSA vault, guaranteed. Ooh, that's something that is the likes of which has been sort of a goal, a talked about thing. Why can't you do X, Y, Z? So just to very briefly about PSA Offers. PSA Offers serve to provide fast liquidity for collectors and needed inventory for hobby partners with PSA broker in the exchange. The amount offered is fully guaranteed with no fees and paid promptly by PSA once accepted. The sold cards go for the dealers, breakers, and local card shops within the PSA partner network. Quality supply is always in demand. Through PSA Offers, vaulted cards are allocated to fill their specific inventory requests and inevitably find new collectors to call home. Where they don't go, it's important to know PSA will not put your card on eBay or any other marketplace, nor regrade. Our focus is to connect cards with established PSA partners committed to serving their collector communities.
The regrade there is really funny. Like, imagine kind of being like, your Messi rookie got a 9, this guy's willing to buy for 30k, and you go, yeah, I'll sell it, and they go, I got a 10.
yeah.
That is a bit like, that's the only kind of finicky part there, because like, if you're being a bit cynical, you're kind of like, hold on.
I mean, are they saying that you like?
They're saying your Wemby Kaboom got a 2, but if you decide you don't want it, they might give it a 10 because now it's theirs.
Yeah, but they could also mean that if they sell a PSA 9 Messi rookie to somebody on your behalf, that cannot be regraded.
Yeah, but if it was cracked out, they wouldn't know. But you're saying
that's
that's
what I'm. Yeah. But anyway, I don't always have to go to the most.
The most negative. But it's important that they mentioned it themselves. They kind of said, "Look, we know this might be something you all think, but that's not what's going to happen." I think without experiencing this in full whack, it is cool. I have heard people say, because it is already happening, I believe. I've heard people say that in some cases there's 100% of the comp. The comp being a literal PSA comp. Like a PSA 10 sold for this. In some cases you're getting 100%, and in some cases you're getting about 70%.
Right. Okay, interesting.
But it does make sense. You could picture like hobby shops that want cards and they're able to plug into this and they're going, right, I'll buy this for the, repackers doing this, that, and the other that sell on whatnot or whatever. Could be really good. I like it. It's a good vertical.
I mean, this goes back to the idea of we were just talking about, which is the idea of hobby shops and vendors. And I mean, even like there were times, and so when we were doing a lot of card shows and stuff like that, where like if we had been designated a PSA partner or whatever, and we had access to these, there's stuff that as it was getting graded, it's like, yeah, give me that, I'll pay for that, and if you give it to me quickly, pay that person out, and don't even ship it back to them, and then or even like for us, it says here, users are only PSA Vault users are eligible to receive PSA Offers. To enable payments from Stripe, users must also bank account in the US, UK, Japan, or Canada. But for people who are international and who are sending their stuff to PSA, it is kind of like something that would encourage me more towards using the PSA Vault, because my stuff's not necessarily stuck in there.
Yep.
Somebody like one of the big, Burbank or something might say, yeah, we need more Gabriel Martinelli kabooms, and
that's right. Like I'm actually sad that we don't currently have a load of PSA cards in PSA or going to PSA. That way I could try test out myself,
Yeah. So yeah, people can let us know if this is something they're excited about, if they're going to be using it, and we'll keep an eye on it as time goes by.
I think, yeah.
Actually, I have to turn my light on for this next part. Listeners, just bear with me for 1 second.
You have your Google Doc visible on screen, Jason. We can all see it. No, he doesn't care. He's gone. I'm going to eat a crisp while he runs away, and I'll mute my mic so people don't have to listen to that.
Are you eating on air? My God. Oh, he's muted. Oh, for the viewer, they saw that, but the listener didn't see it. The listener has no idea what ends up.
I told the listener about it. You weren't here. They know. I was saying you left your Google Doc on the screen for us all to see. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I'll have to edit this. Oh God.
I should have chewed without muting, because if you have to edit it, you would have edited it out.
Yeah. Now we're all okay. We're back anyway. We're back to Enzo, you may know noted. I know everyone already knows because they may have seen the screen, but I'm going to edit it so they didn't see the screen. But noted hobby author Greg Lansdowne, who has written extensively with Panini stickers and kind of pre-modern football hobby stuff, has a new book out. And this is not an ad. This is just a...
Sounds like an ad, Jason.
No, it's not an ad, I'm saying.
Are you doing ads on the sly without me being involved? You're cutting me out of ads.
No, I'm not taking backhanders.
You've never even had an ad, and I'm being put out before we even have one.
No, it's not. It's not like that.
I'm happy about this.
But this new book...
Oh, come on. Oh, God. Do you know what? Now,
I swear to God, there's not an ad.
I know, but now we'll never get an ad, because this is an atrocious fake ad.
Right. Well, it's a good thing, because we don't have advertisers or guests. Right. This new book by Greg is Panini Legends, a celebration of most great football stickers. And basically, Enzo, it's kind of like a coffee table book. And as you go through it, there's like loads of different players. And for each player, it'll show you their first sticker, their rookie sticker, and a lot of important stickers representing their career. And it's a very nice...
the perfect Christmas gift. Use a coupon code Soccer Cards United. Use the coupon code Jason.
No, it's not an ad.
Yeah, that's right, Jason. I have my eyes on. You're going to edit it. I have to listen to this podcast.
But do you know what the exciting news is?
Tell me.
There was a delay in me getting sent this book. There was some sort of confusion over shipping. And so Bloomsbury said, right, we'll send... I don't know what happened there. We'll send them one now. We must have forgot to send them one. We'll send them one now. And then the first one came as well. So Enzo, I have one of these for you.
Wow. Do I have to pay you for that? Does that go to your affiliate program?
No, that's all.
That's brilliant. All right, Jason, will you fly down to me now and just give me that book?
Oh, you want to read it before you go to bed?
That's right. No, I'm joking. That's brilliant. Shout out. You got the book for free, though, despite the lack of ad. Did you buy it? How did you get the book?
I already said Bloomsbury Publishing sent it to me.
For free? Yeah.
For free, yeah.
But not an ad?
Not an ad, no.
That's good.
They did mention that I had to say that they had provided it to me for free in a little note.
Fascinating. We're not cut out for ads, are we not?
We're not looking for ads.
No, I'm saying we're not cut out for them.
We're not cut out for ads, no.
Tell you, we should do an ad for Virgin Media, because I think you've made a big mistake here changing your internet, Jason.
It's literally, I don't know what's going on with my internet. Speaking of not an ad,
yep,
we're doing an auction with TradeWe at the moment. A lot of our stuff.
This sounds like the most corporate podcast we ever had. We're not Dynasty.
I didn't hear that. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear a word of that.
Don't worry. But yeah, we people remember that we have in the past done 100 card auctions, and they were great and they were fun, and the Irish community loved them, because those are the people buying most of them, because our eBay store is invisible to most people that have followed us. We hadn't done it in a long time because we had some issues with shipping, mainly just the cost of shipping. If people wants to win a card under €5, the shipping really did break down in a big way. So we finally got around to just giving a load to TradeWe, who basically do consignments in the UK, similar to what like MC PC Sports Cards would do in the States. We've never tried auctioning with them. We've heard a lot of good stuff. So yeah, we decided let's try the UK market. We went to the London Card Show with loads of cards, and we said all the cards that we don't sell, we'll just put in a big box, we'll hand it off to TradeWe, and we will see how that goes. And yeah, so far I would say it went up very, very fast. We didn't have to do all the work of the photos and the listings and everything. So that's great already. I managed to change, Jason, you have all this in euro, and the postage is kind of based on you being in Ireland, but I managed to change it to what the postage is if you're in the UK, and it's under £3, just under £3.
Wow.
And as a result of that, you're seeing like a lot of the lower end cards getting bids, and you're seeing lots of the other cards getting bids. I would assume by the time it's all done, the vast majority of the cards are going to be sold to people in the UK. So that is something for us to look at, because obviously we have a lot of, like, maybe this is going to exclude some of the Irish people, etc., etc. But thus far, there's 6 days left, 5 days left on some of them, 4 days left on some of them. I'm really happy with what I'm seeing. I'm seeing a lot of bids on cards that I brought to London. I'd have sold that for 10 in London, and it's bidded up at 14, and I'm like, this is brilliant.
It's one of those things where it's like I feel like I'm in a competition with my past self over where these cards end up, because obviously there's some cards in here that at the last London card show, and also some cards that are many card shows before that, not just the London card show. I've been asked to quote a price, 100 times on some of these cards, and have stuck by a price or gone as far as I think I can reasonably go on a card, and been told that I was still too high. But some of those cards are starting to get numbers, and I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
No, like, fundamentally, we know eBay auctions work, right? They just do. Like, when you can get a big crowd of cards in, and you get enough eyes in, eBay auctions work. The trouble we have as Irish collectors is that we live on an island. eBay.ie is very limited in terms of visibility outside Ireland. Shipping, especially tracked, which you need to do for eBay, that way you can't get disputes against you.
Yep.
You have to have the proof of delivery with the tracking. I think the cheapest we can get is €6 maybe. Maybe €8 if it's not in Ireland. But basically, it really breaks down for the lower end cards. And basically, whenever we ran eBay auctions, we would just be thrilled with people that won 4 or 5 items, because now we're not going to lose money on shipping. And I was like, that just didn't work. So it makes sense to do this. So we're testing it out in the UK. I'm excited. It's going well, I would say, Jason, definitely. It's just, I don't know, I'm excited that I can potentially refer Irish people to this, because a lot of people are kind of in Ireland. We are lucky enough to have an audience and to have followers on our eBay, and like, people are paying attention to what we're doing, and like, we're able to put it on our Instagram and people will click into it. There's a lot of Irish sellers that have the same lack of visibility, because our visibility is from our following, from the people that listen to podcasts, people that follow us on Instagram,
who know it's there already,
who already know us, and they're able to click into it. Whereas like an Irish collector who has cool cards on their eBay might get really, really struggle to get visibility, and certainly it would not be worth their time doing an auction. I think you did an auction, Jason, maybe of Carlos Alcaraz Net Pro card.
Sure.
And it didn't do too well, and you did it on your personal set of Soccer Cards United, and as a result, there wasn't huge eyes on it. So especially, like, so if you have a really cool card you have a buy now, people might find it. But if you want to just get liquid and you want an auction card, it could potentially be a really good avenue as tap into the UK market. Potentially, I'm sure someone in Germany is doing it as well. That could be a really good market to tap into. Like, we wouldn't send all our Bundesliga to the UK, for example. And then we know we've already had a lot of recommendations for people that do it in the US. And like, if this went really well here, I think there are cards, Jason, we'd look at and go, do you know what? I reckon these would do well in a US auction that has eyes,
Yeah.
So this is our first.
Sure.
I'd say it's our first time giving someone else cards to sell on our behalf, right?
Yeah. I think there's maybe one or two kind of high end cards we've given to people to say,
golden,
yeah. But in terms of like running an auction on our behalf, this is the first time I've ever done it. I'm very excited. We won't be doing a live stream to cover the end of the auction on Sunday, because, just final call, we are in Amersfoort in the Netherlands this Sunday for a trade day, showcase day, co-hosted by ourselves and Q's Cards. So we got some Irish people coming over, we got some Dutch people coming in, some people from the surrounding low countries, and I'm very excited.
Yeah, that's what it's like, Jason. You're Irish collectors. You're here. You're always interacting with the States whenever you can. We're sending cards off to the UK to have our friends in the UK. These are infrastructures that never used to exist. We're sending cards off to our friends in the UK to auction them off on eBay UK to get into UK collector hands. We're going and hopping on a 1-hour flight to Amsterdam and making our way to Amersfoort, because there is infrastructure over there from a Dutch collector and business owner, and there we're hosting an event together. Like, this is, for people in the States, this is what's happening in Europe. The hobby is in full bloom over here.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of infrastructure being kind of laid out across the kind of European landscape. And it's good, and we're tapping into it. Like, we're in Ireland, so we have to step out of our country to really get involved.
From Ireland to the world.
That's right.
Yeah. I think that's a good note to end on, because my internet connection is literally worse than it's ever been, and I just paid to have it upgraded. So we're back on Thursday for episode 262. Yes. Don't forget, this book is available
Oh my
now,
God.
and I'm not advertising it. I didn't get paid. They sent it to me for free, but they sent it to Enzo for free as well, accidentally. So that's all right.
Accidentally. Look at what I get.
Look, have a good week, everyone, and we'll see you on Thursday.